Mackenzie and welcome to this watercolor tutorial, and today we're going to be painting this festive fireplace. Now this is a lot of fun. If you don't want to worry about sketching, you can go below, click the link in my description. I'll take you to my website where you can download the sketch and paint alongside with me. Now let's get started. So this right here is my Winsor Newton watercolor paints that I have taken from the tube and put it inside this palette that I got off of Amazon. I have a tapping cloth right here. It's always good to have one. That way you don't have excess water on your page. I also have my two water cups right here. One I use for cool paints and one I use for my warmer paint colors. I also have right here my dryer. I like to use this to speed up the process between layers. These are the brushes that I use. These are the silver black velvet. I have size 12, 4, and 8, and these are the round tip brushes. I'm using this painting as an example. I always like to have painter's tape on hand. I like to paint down my paintings. It's easier to one, film, and to also just keep everything from moving around and it getting a little messy. It also helps to protect your desk, which you'll see mine is very worn. So it definitely does help with that. I have been pretty excited to get started and paint this one. So I am just gonna dive right into it, and I'm gonna add a bit of gray into my palette with some nice brown. If I just added gray, I feel like it would just look a little bit too dull. So I'm just using a different color just to have it not be quite as dull. So I'm gonna come on the inside here underneath, and I am going to just shadow this out. So I'm going to get pretty dark under here, and as I pull it down with just some more water, it's going to start to break up this color. Get rid of everything on my brush. I'm just going to start dragging down this color. I'm going to start to eventually start switching it to different browns. And I'm going to leave a nice open area over here for my flames. So I'm going to come around the side here and fill this part in with the brown. I'm trying to leave some white space right in here. I'm going to come in with a little bit more of that darker color and just touch in the top just a little bit more and just let these colors blend a bit more into each other. I have a damp brush now that will just help me move around my color. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to let it dry, and I'm going to move on to another part of my painting. And I want the very top of my, what is this called? Fireplace? Is it frame? There's a name for it. I want it to be nice and light because I am going to paint over it with some green. So I don't want there to be too much darkness here, but I am going to touch the top with just like a little bit of a shadow color and just let that naturally bleed out to just help there be a nice shadow. Okay, now I have to let that dry. So the next thing that I'm going to do as well is come around my edges, and I can just start applying a nice color. So I'm going to come in and just paint everything like a nice wash of a color. And I'm just doing a wash of brown, and then I'll come in and I'll add some nice bricks. And we're going to be working in layers here. That way I don't have just a plain white fireplace. So I am going to dry this piece in a second. Yeah, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to dry it right now, and then I can start moving on to my other parts of my fireplace. The reason why I dried it, if I come in and just paint everything the same color, I'm not going to have the nice divide between each of these sections of the fireplace that I would like. So that part's called the wet on dry. So I just want to make sure that everything is dry so when I eventually come on and layer, everything looks very cohesive and separated. So I'm going to come in now and paint this part. And again, while this is still wet, I'm going to come in with a little bit of a shadow and just put that right under here. And let that just bleed. And I'm going to do this section jumping over the middle part of the mantle. And again, while this is still wet, I can come in and touch and let that bleed. So that's a lot darker than the other side. So I just tap my napkin to absorb some of that color. Okay, I have to let that part dry. Okay, I'm gonna come around this side now and paint right in here. I'm gonna try to not touch the top part. I'm mixing up a different color for this little part. So I'm just kind of rotating between different shades of brown to make this mantle pop. Okay, so from this part, we can just have fun with the colors and start to kind of build up some blocks, just using different colors again of some browns. So I'm gonna come in and just very loosely just start painting some brick shapes. Again, changing up different colors, how thick they are, how thin they are. Some just loose shapes. If you would have asked me years ago to do paintings like this, I would have been like, no, there's no way. Everything has to be symmetrical and perfect. But I found that the imperfections in watercolor and not having everything absolutely perfect and uniform actually comes together at the end and really does make a beautiful piece, but it takes a lot of trusting the process and just going until the end. Okay, so I'm gonna come in and again, paint different sections, different bricks. Trying to not be uniform here, just trying to go with that loose watercolor. Just trusting the process. I'm gonna get a little bit more of a yellow in here. And I get it, this part can be hard, especially if you have that perfectionist mentality. Totally get it. I'm gonna come in actually and just create little shapes in here, I think, as well, because why not? Just little baby ones. Okay. And I'm gonna come in and just paint the bottom of the fireplace. See how everything's slowly starting to come together a little bit? Actually looks like a fireplace. I'm gonna come in with just a little bit of a gray brownish shadow right here. I'm just gonna get some water actually just to kind of break it up just a hair. Okay. All right, and now I'm going to come in and fill out more of like an orangey color. This little mantle part right in here. I'm going to dry this. I'm going to grab a different color. So now that that part is dry, I just dried it, I can come in and just create like a little, I don't know, rough design of something. I don't even know. I can come in and do that as well in here. Just create as if there's some texture or something in there. Okay, we did it. We survived the fireplace. So now what I want to do is I want to just mix up a little bit of the bottom or the inside of the fireplace. So I'm mixing a little bit of red with a little bit of gray and brown. And I'm going to come in between this area with this color now that the wall is nice and dry, and just paint this. Okay, and then to make this dimensional, I have to have some shadows in here as well. So I'm just tapping around with some black. And the reason why I went solely with black is because when the wood coal pieces turned to ash. It is mostly grayish blackish, so I'm adding that there as well. And I'm gonna dry it. I'm gonna grab some, what is it called? Burnt umber. And I'm gonna just apply this first color down of some wood. And I'm gonna leave these two until this one is dry. So I'm gonna grab my dryer really quick. Okay, now that that's dry, I can come in and paint this one. Let this dry. Come in and paint this section. Dry it. Now I can come in and just create some shadows here. Just like that. We're going with a very loose watercolor. I'm not spending forever. You'll see I'm moving fast. It's not because I've been doing it necessarily forever, but just because I'm trying to just not think about it just too much. So coming in here in the back where this little line is, I am applying a thicker, darker coat of the black, I think, just to kind of make this area kind of pop a little bit. I'm gonna come into the curve area as well. And then using just a damp brush with just water on it, I'm gonna blend out that line as well. Okay? All right, so the next part is gonna be filling in the fire and the stockings. Okay, so this part right here is dry. I do wanna come in with just a little bit more of a darker shadow, and then I can be done with this wood. I'm gonna come right under and just do a third layer right in here, just to kind of make this wood pop just a little bit. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to grab some nice yellow for the flames, and then I'm going to grab some cadmium red and make an orange. It's a little too reddy. Okay, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to kind of go around the flame area, leaving lots of space of the white. And I'm going to bring it into my browns just a little bit. And I'm going to leave lots of white, as I said before, some white space here, just so that the flame looks really, really light. Like it's a hot fire. I can also bring in different types of intensities of the color. Just touch around different spots. Basically just trying to blend this out. Okay. Just gonna bring it in a little bit more over here. Okay, I feel pretty good about the flames. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to just make these little stockings just pop. So I'm gonna grab some red. And I think I just wanna do a red stocking on here. So I'm coming in with some red. Oh, now I'm debating, do I do a green on the other side? Or do I just stick to a red? I feel like I'm just gonna stick to a red. Really just make it pop. I also love how pigmented this color is. I'm gonna do these straps red as well, actually. And I'm gonna leave the top part of the stocking. I'm gonna leave it white, but I'm gonna come in once my red is dry, and then I'll do some like fluff. I feel like that will look really cute. I can even scoop up for a highlight in some areas as well. Just so I have a damp brush. There's nothing on my brush except for just, you know, clean damp brush. And I scooped up some of that color for a highlight. And then basically I'm gonna start mixing up my green colors. So my favorite festive color is definitely mixing Hooker's green with sap green. And you can mix in some cadmium red as well. And you can also mix in either like indigo. I feel like cadmium red makes it a really nice army color. And I'm gonna start creating some nice greenery here on top of my fireplace. So I just mixed up my green color, and I'm gonna start a little bit lighter and then you work up to your darkest, we already talked about that, your darkest layer. So I'm gonna come in and start creating some nice greenery. So I'm just gonna create some nice leaf shapes, and I'm using the very tip of my brush. And this might feel really awkward if you're not into the loose watercolor. You might want to be a little bit more intentional, but I'm telling you, just do like little blots and leaf-like shapes. Don't just hyper focus on creating exact shapes, and it will come together, I promise. So I'm using the very tip of my brush. I'm leaving plenty of white space, which is the paper, to shine through. And I'm coming along here and just blotting along, creating some nice garland shapes. I'm gonna kind of have it start to droop off the edge, I think, a little bit. Oh yeah, I love that. And if you want as well, you can actually leave some gaps and you can paint in some candles or whatever, but I kind of want to just focus on this just being a nice full garland. I'm gonna put some berries in here as well, I think. I might change my mind. And I'm trying to just make it as symmetrical as possible on both sides. So bringing this down. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna come in with a darker color as well. That way I can just give it a little bit more of dimension. So focusing on where I've already painted, I'm gonna come in and just add a little bit of indigo to some areas, just to give some of them a little bit of pop. I'm gonna come in with a little bit of a lighter color as well. And just changing up different shades of green. I don't like how uniform it is, so I'm just gonna add some more green in certain areas just to kind of break up the feel of it being very uniform. Okay, and then for my my stocking, that should be dry. So I'm gonna come in and just focus on the shadows versus the actual painting white. So I'm letting my paper do its thing. And I'm leaving plenty of white space as well, just to give the illusion that this fur is white. And I'm coming in with the blue gray. I feel like if you just come in with straight gray, it just looks just too dull. So I have some blue, and then I'm just touching the edges as well. And I'm just making some little shapes, leaving plenty of white space, again, to give the illusion that there is white fur. Okay, so you can leave it as this. You can add as many or as little details as you like. I do actually kind of want to put just like a little bit more detail into like the flame a little bit. So I'm going in with a little bit more of a pigmented orange and just doing like some little lines here just to make the fire kind of pop a little bit. Okay, and then if you want to, you can add some cherries. We can add some like fun little festive designs. I do want to just add a hint of gold. So I have right here metallic brush pen. I actually got it off of Temu, And I just wanted to just give this just an ever slightly gold accent to it. I'm just doing like a broken line as if it has some like beading coming off of it. And then I can also just do some nice gold leaves almost coming out. I'm not doing a straight line, I'm definitely coming in with like a broken line. And then I can also come in and just do a nice little mini ball. Like there's like a little bell hanging from the stocking as well, just to add some fun character here. I don't know. You can definitely have fun with this. I'm just going to come in and just add some nice gold leaves here, some more. And then, just because I'm being a little crazy, I can even come in and just add a little shine here. Let me see if I like it. I don't like it with the silver. I'm going to go with the Blue Proof White. I am invested in this painting. I really want to make it pop. Okay, I'm coming in and just doing like a little shine from the balls right here. And then even with that gold, I can come in and just kind of break it up a little bit and just give it a little bit of white. Okay. I don't know, I just feel like the gold just gives it that extra little touch. I'm gonna break this up a little bit more. Okay, and there we have it. That is my painting, my little fireplace. And yeah, you can be as creative as you want to be. Just really try to make this pop. So the only thing that I'm not loving right now is, I don't love that you can see my ink marks right here. So I'm just gonna come in and just sort of shadow to make this just stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to get rid of everything on my brush, and I'm just going to blend out this color that I just dropped with some water. Yeah, I feel like I like that better. And then even under here, I want to just shadow a little bit more. Shadow right in here. Okay, and there's my painting. I hope that you enjoyed it and had fun painting along with me. If you'd like to check out more of my videos, please like and subscribe and follow my channel, and I'll